fucking crazy bastard.
Hello, good afternoon, good night, good night, né? No abrasileirado, o professor de inglês aí vai me dar um esporro nos bastidores.
Nice shirt, Gus.
Know, man.
A gente tá aqui sábado
numa agenda,
uma agenda maluca aí. Welcome, Gus. Já vamos apresentar, né? Carrinho por trás. Gus and Scott Watts Sacrifice. Yes. Welcome.
The best Canadian rhythm section in Canada.
8 o'clock here.
That's because the beer says so.
I think it's the shirt that says so. Oh, I see a cat in the background.
Yeah.
Cat?
Galera,
you'll see.
Galera, vamos aproveitar aí um sábado bem fora do padrão aí. Né? Não é sempre que a gente tá
Olha o Dottie.
Ó, e a gato aparecendo. Hoje é daquelas lives bacana.
Parecendo até o rabo do gato.
Bem-vindo, Ivan. O Ivan também tá tomando um Guaraná Antártico.
Guaraná cerebral. Fosfosol.
O Christian tá na penumbra ali, porque ele é das trevas. E vamos lá. Galera, perguntem, se inscrevam no canal, aquela coisa toda, né, Ivan, e etc.
Isso,
etc.
se inscreve no canal, compartilha, toca no sininho para receber as notificações, comenta se for possível e também coloca aí o canal para divulgar entre os contatos, né, para o canal crescer e a gente ter mais
Isso
acesso.
aí, galera. Eu já vou entrar com uma pergunta que eu faço que é clássica, considerando aí a gente, né, eu sou muito fã do Sacrifice, né, o Brasil aí é muito fã, né? O Sacrifice impactou muito aqui a cena trash dos anos 80. Eu queria perguntar para ele como é que tá o momento para eles, né? Para o Scott e para o Gus, como é que tá o momento da banda, né? O último full length foi 2009. A gente viu uma movimentação deles aí no Facebook gravando algo. Para ele nos atualizar aí, Christian, por favor.
Okay. Jay is asking an update about Sacrifice because last album was 2009 and we have seen you in studio doing some things. So is there anything new coming? Can we expect something like that?
Go for it, Gus.
Yes. Rob and I have been very busy, probably more so the last, I'd say 3, 4, 5 years, putting together songs. I'd say right now we have probably 5 or 6 complete songs that we've written and are ready to record. I'm very happy, very, very happy. We were lucky enough to do a single over the pandemic, which in itself seems ridiculous to say the least, but we did that, yeah. And so the momentum seems to be nice and we're headed in the right direction, so yeah. And we got a whole bunch of covers that stuff that we'd like to play. So you never know. Maybe we'll put a couple of those together and put them on the next release, so to speak. But we'll see. I mean, we've got some time. We're still putting things together. We got songs, and we're still writing. So I can maybe expect another song at least.
Great to hear that.
Thank you.
I'm gonna give the Portuguese version as fast as I can.
Okay.
Yes.
Bom, eles estão trabalhando já no material novo, tá? 5 anos aí ensaiando, coisa e tal. Já tem 5 ou 6 músicas prontas, né? Estão bem felizes, assim, de conseguir fazer alguma coisa na pandemia, né? Que ninguém conseguiu fazer nada. Talvez já saia alguma coisa nova, né? Eles estão ainda tentando juntar mais algumas músicas, né? Mas a princípio vai ter coisa nova vindo aí sim, né? Então, tipo, a banda tá na ativa, né? E vamos ver agora no final total da pandemia aí o que nós podemos esperar, né? Então, tipo, tá ali. As
Todas as bandas estão com trabalho no forno, né?
Todo mundo ficou com essa coisa assim. Acho que eles estão numa época, que nem ele falou, ele tá numa época bem boa, apesar da pandemia, porque eles conseguiram, né? Trabalhar esses sons agora, né? E logo em seguida nós vamos ver alguma coisa. Eu vou perguntar aqui se eles pretendem lançar algum pick das próximas músicas. Do you intend to release any of these new songs as a rehearsal, or something that we can expect for the new album or something like that? Like even a lyric video, because nowadays everybody's like releasing lyric videos, you know?
Yeah, we're going to do a single of that song we released last December, World War V. I don't know if we're allowed to say that, but it's out now.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think we're going to do, I think it's one song, World War V, and 2 live songs on the B-side.
Yes.
I think that's what we're going to do.
Yes.
Just to have something out, and then I hope next year we can record.
Well, yeah.
Nice.
I mean, I would like to press, at least the powers that be on my end to, maybe. I mean, I would like a weekend anytime soon. I'm ready.
Great.
You're ready. I haven't even heard half the songs.
That's okay. let me do my thing, and then you guys will hear it and go, okay, sure, let's go.
It'd be better.
Sure.
I like it. I'm pretty happy.
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay. Português. Eles já têm um lyric vídeo aí rolando, né? Eles talvez façam outro e a música que tá rolando aí talvez vai virar um B-side, com certeza, tá? Mas sim, tem esperança aí de largar alguma coisa já pra continuar. O Gus tá ali brincando com as paquetas, né? Já tá.
O Gus tá pilhado. Vai lá, Riva.
Tá.
Eles lançaram um álbum, eles relançaram, na verdade, um álbum ao vivo, que era de 85. Eles fizeram algum tratamento nesse álbum, ou ele é como ele tá ali, ele é o que foi captado lá em 85?
Mm-hmm. If I was asking about the release of the live album that you released, like if it was like remastered, or it's like the recording is like the record from the 1985.
I don't know, to tell you the truth. I'm not sure if it's pure raw or they actually went in and EQ'd it, maybe did something better. I'm not sure. I don't think they did. I think it's as raw as you get.
I think what they did is just EQ it and probably bring things out that maybe.
So I think the whole goal was to have rawness.
Yeah. Wasn't it recorded on a tape cassette?
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah.
Originally.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it sounds like a tape cassette.
Yeah. Al, who put it out, I think he was going right for the rawness of it all. So maybe it's pure raw, but I'm sure there was something added or EQ or something. I'm sure there was.
I'm still trying to get over the cover, really.
That was a shit cover. The worst cover I've ever seen.
I fucking knew you were going to say that shit too, man. That's great. Listen, I was in shock too, fucker. I mean, I couldn't believe it.
I like it. I love that cover. That's a really good cover. I mean, that's such an 80s drum kit. 100%. Shows it perfectly.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so
it's so like
Portuguese time. Good luck with this one.
Fuck, good luck with that. Just chalk it on. I couldn't stop laughing.
Fala aí que a gravação ainda é uma gravação. Aquela gravação foi feita em tape, né? Lá na década de 80.
Sim, não tinha outro jeito.
O Scott tava falando que a capa é podre de feia, né? Uma bosta. Mas ela tem meio aquela coisa do espírito dos anos 80, né? Que é o que era, né? Então, tipo, eles acham que eles mal deram uma mexidinha ali. A gravação é aquela gravação crua e podre que tinha da época mesmo ali. Era uma mexidinha com isso e tal. O Scott diz que deram pequena, né? Uma coisinha que outra ali, mas enfim, a gravação, né? Que eles fizeram ali é uma gravação bem cara de cassete mesmo, assim, né? Estavam lembrando ali da época da fita, né? Que quando lançaram em fita, todo mundo tava olhando pra capa e tal. E, meu Deus, o que é isso? Mas,
o Christian, ele falou aí, né? Esse live aí, o Ivan disse que é de 85. E eu queria, já que a gente entrou no anos 80 aí, eu queria entender como fã agora, né? Uma pergunta de fã. Sim. Como se deu aqui 86, eles lançaram o debut, o Torment in Fire. E na sequência, um ano depois, o clássico Fall to Termination. Mas de um ano para outro eles evoluíram brutalmente. Né? Brutalmente. O que motivou eles a melhorar, a ficar mais técnico? Como se deu essa virada do ano de 86 para 87 do disco Tormenting Fire para o Fall to Termination? Por gentileza.
E a formação é a mesma, né?
E a formação é a mesma.
Jay is asking about the evolution from the first album to the second album because you evolved it's like very fast, and it was like from technical to more technical yet. You know, like he is asking how did it happen? It was like occasional, or you were really putting all the efforts to evolve further and further, like to become more technical. It was just us
evolving as musicians, and we were just growing. We wanted to play thrash. We knew what we wanted to play and how it was going to sound. So we just went and did it. So the progression was definitely, Torment and Fire were about 18, I guess, something like that. 18, 19. And
we were a band for what? Like 3 months? And then we recorded that record. And then yeah, like literally. I was in the band, in May? And then next thing you know, in September, we're recording like it was one summer.
Well, what about the Exorcism demo?
But that's what I'm saying. Like that took us like a month to do. Like we were in the studio. Like I don't forget it at all because it was like April, May, and then we were recording the demo in June, and then in September of that year we recorded Torment and Fire, and then we spent the next maybe year plus writing For Determination.
Writing and playing around. We did a lot of playing around.
Yeah, we did a lot of playing. But I'm just saying, like, 86, remember? We spent the summer together in 86.
Yeah, we did a lot of touring with hardcore bands. We did lots with COC, DRI.
Yeah.
We did stuff with a Canadian band, Sudden Impact. We did a lot in between Torment and FTT, that's for sure. And it was just a natural progression. We just kept progressing and evolving.
Yeah. Like the speed, you were giving me all kinds of shit. You're going, here, listen to this. I listen to that stuff and I'd fall in love with it. And next thing you know, it's, just becomes a part of you.
Yeah, you got it. Okay, Portuguese time. Ok, bom, eles falam ali, né, até estavam conversando entre eles ali, que a banda evoluiu rápido e natural, porque eles sabiam o que eles queriam fazer, eles queriam tocar thrash metal, né, mas desde que que o Gus entrou ali, eles já começaram a gravar e não demorou muito, a banda mal tinha 3, 6 meses e já foram gravando o demo e o LP na sequência, então, tipo...
Começou a tirar as relíquias.
Logo na sequência ali, eles começaram a gravar e para eles foi meio que natural, porque enquanto eles gravaram o primeiro, o segundo, sendo em turnê, eles não pararam de tocar, né? Eles passaram o verão juntos, estão compondo, tocando, então isso foi fazendo com que eles tocassem muito e melhorando cada vez mais. Eles tinham em torno de 18, 19 anos ali no primeiro álbum, então tipo, é um amadurecimento natural, né? Mas focado, eles sabiam que eles queriam aquilo ali, eles queriam ficar mais técnico ainda, né? Então, tipo, essa junção deles, e eles foram uma banda que cresceu e amadureceu rápido, né? Mesmo falando
eu nem falei na sequência que depois que aí fica mais técnico, né? Que é o Soldiers of Missile Fortune, que eu vou falar depois, deixar o Ivan falar.
Tu vê ali quando o Gus fala que eles tiveram tempos para tocar junto, mas a banda cresceu rápido, né? Ela amadureceu rápida, mas a princípio eles foram uma das poucas bandas que começaram já sabendo o que queriam fazer.
A gente percebeu.
E não era normal na década de 80, tá? A maior parte das bandas não sabia o que tá fazendo bosta nenhuma. Isso é a grande verdade, né?
Na sequência, já que o Jorge falou sobre os anos 80 ali, as bandas como o próprio Sacrifice, o Razor, o Envy e o Exciter, para citar 4 bandas canadenses, o que na visão deles faltou assim para eles formarem, digamos, time mais forte, assim, digamos, comercialmente para o mundo, que as bandas americanas e as bandas alemãs estouraram, assim, se tornaram...
Gus, wake up.
E o que faltou para as bandas canadenses invadir o resto do mundo?
Okay. Ivan is asking about the lacking of maybe information, I don't know, about the Canadian bands, because we have the Big Four in the United States, we have the Big Four in Germany, but we don't have a Big Four in Canada, you know. We have great bands there. The Sacrifice is one, and we have...
I think the Big Fours is really up to people. It's not really up to the bands. It's whoever the people, the fans think are the best four bands in the country. I mean, for us, I don't know who the best four would be. There's a lot of bands from the 80s that started. They're just still going now, and they're all great bands.
It's nice. It's nice to be mentioned. It's nice to be in the argument. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
That's what I like. As long as we keep everybody talking about us, I think that's the main thing.
Yeah, because the Big Four in the U.S. Well, I don't really agree with all the bands in the Big Four that shoot a Big Four. I don't agree with all of them.
No.
Some of them for sure, but some of them no. I wouldn't agree that would be the Big Four of the U.S. No.
Yeah.
Not for me.
There's a band or two in there that I think
I would pick someone else. For sure.
Other bands deserve to be there.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. In our opinion. And that's all it is. It's someone's opinion of who they should think is the top four. There is no real top four. Well, I guess Metallica.
I guess there is, yeah. Well,
maybe just
there's always number one. I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's okay being second or third, fourth, fifth.
Once people know the band, that's the most important thing, you know.
Yeah, as long as they're talking about us, right?
Yeah.
The whole idea.
Yeah, exactly.
Eventually they're gonna find our catalog and either gonna like it or they'll hate it, right?
As long as we're not forgotten, if our name's still there, that's all that matters.
They fucking still talking about us, man. It's fucking crazy. I'm 55 and I'm drunk on my grandson's fucking birthday talking to you guys.
Great. Ok, português. Bom, ele fala ali que ele não vê uma necessidade grande de ter um Big Four, né? Que é mais uma coisa das pessoas nomeando as bandas. Para ele não faz diferença nenhuma. O importante é que a banda esteja aí, que falem da banda, né? Isso é o mais interessante, assim. Mas ali foi a coisa mais... Ele meio que discorda do Big Four americano, né? Tem outras bandas que deveriam estar ali, né? Não é tanto assim, né?
Ele quase todo mundo.
A questão é mais as pessoas que começaram a falar que aquelas bandas eram o Big Four do que as bandas...
Não, foi o Lars Ulrich que montou o Big Four e deu, acabou. Ele montou, convidou as bandas e deu, e era isso.
E as pessoas começaram a falar disso, na verdade, não foram as bandas em si que se tornaram, as pessoas que começaram a falar disso, e algumas bandas ficaram meio que não esquecidas, né? Mas como ele fala, o nome do Sacrifice tá lá. Tá gravado na história, tá no catálogo, querendo ou não, gostem ou não gostem, tá lá o nome do Sacrifice e ele é tão importante quanto, né?
Sim.
Inclusive, o Cliff Burton, lá na época que era vivo, curtia bastante Sacrifice, para quem não conhece Metallica, né?
Sim, mas é importante salientar que essas bandas que eu citei, o Razor, o próprio Sacrifice,
sim,
eles tinham uma identidade muito forte. Hoje a gente escuta, e naquela época a gente escutava, até nos anos 90 a gente escutava e a gente sabia que era uma banda speed metal, thrash metal canadense. Da onde é que vem essa influência bem específica deles? Igual ao thrash death metal
alemão.
Alemão e o nosso de Minas Gerais aqui. Tinha uma característica muito forte. Vinha da onde? Vinha do Triumph? Vinha da onde isso que vinha?
Boa, eu também tenho essa dúvida.
It was asking about the origin of the sound of Sacrifice, because it's like Canadian thrash metal, you know, like it's the same when we listen to German or American thrash metal, you know, you were able to identify, or here in Brazil, Minas Gerais, you know, Sepultura, we were able to, this comes from Brazil, this is from Minas Gerais, and Sacrifice is like, this is Canadian thrash metal, it's completely different than American thrash metal and the German thrash metal. And so Eva is asking about the origin of this sound, the Canadian thrash metal sound, because it's like always more linked to progressive bands, actually, you know, than the more violent bands. I think like Canadian bands were 10 times more linked to something like a progressive style and aggressivity at the same time, and the other bands were just worried about aggressivity. If you got what I mean.
Yes. That's interesting, eh? That we have a sound that's distinct enough to be recognized from the Americans and the Brazilians. I would agree with that. I mean, for me and him, I mean, our flavor. I mean, Scott and I, we've always had the same flavor of taste and music. And when there's something that he's had, he says, "Hey, check this out, man." He goes, "You're gonna like this." And back then, we were so locked into how fast guys played, how precise guys played. That it was never lost on me and him how good Slayer was, how good Metallica was, every release. So these flavors, crept into our playing, but yet, for me and him, we still loved our roots, the Zeppelins, the Black Sabbaths, especially Rush. For him and I,
yeah,
Rush to me and him and the other two guys, like you can't get a more perfect set of musicians to come together, create something, and then spit it out to you. And it's all about flavor, right? And each guy had a different flavor, had a different ideology, whatever. He always brought something to the table. I guess in my own way, I always played something that made this fucking guy happy. Crazy, but true.
Or it wouldn't be recorded.
Or he'd look at me and go, "Hey, fucker, why didn't you play that a little faster?"
Yeah.
And then, or he'd look at me and do one of these.
Yeah, faster.
And it's funny how these little things, get trapped in you, and you're thinking about that stuff, and then each album progressed, and then it's the flavor that it gives you, or the inspiration to do something specific, right? Yeah. And through the fucking years, that's what we've done. Or we'll look at each other and they'll go, yeah,
great.
That's good. But that's flavor, right? That's his and I flavor. Like, who fucking knows what the guys in the States were listening to? I mean, you figure like Kerry King and Hanneman, those guys were hooked on all that punk shit, right? I can't speak for the guys in Germany, like Millie and those guys. I can't speak for what they were hooked on, or even what Max and Igor were doing in Brazil. Like, what are you guys fucking hooked on? What are you listening to? And at that time, I remember when Scott gave me the first Creator, and he gave me the Destruction, all that stuff.
Yeah.
It all led to different aspects. Like, I mean, think about it. When you and I first heard that Dark Angel album back in, Which one? Yeah, the first one, the very first one, Darkness Descends, when we heard Dottie and stuff.
Was first, I thought.
Which one?
I thought We Have Arrived was first.
And for Dark Angel? Yeah, shit, I don't know. All I remember is when I bought
was killer. Oh yeah.
Yeah, when I bought that record, for me, I was like, shit, man. This was the new, how fast you could play. And that's when, when we did Light of the End, for me, him and I, that was probably my peak at, during For Determination. That's the way I see it. And then the songwriting, well, it's spread out through the record.
Yeah, I think after obviously Torment, and then they got, in my opinion, the writing got better on For Determination. I think we really peaked at Soldiers. And then when we did Apocalypse, it was different because Gus wasn't there anymore. A different drummer, so that actually
different drummer.
Yeah,
different flavors. Yeah, different flavors. Mike's a great drummer, but Mike is Mike, but we are two different drummers.
Yeah,
completely. Yeah, that's just fact.
Yeah, that's why Apocalypse is. It's still Sacrifice, but then definitely
Sacrifice. But it's Mike.
Never sounded like anything from before.
No, and even after. I mean, I came back and we rewrote. We wrote the ones I condemn, and it's like Rob said to me. He goes, "I just want you to be you." I was all right, so I'll be me. and that's what I gave him, and he was more than happy with that. But I mean, same shit though, what Scott? You know what I'm saying? When I joined the band, there was already a collection of songs already done.
Yeah.
So all I'm really doing is expanding on something that's already been written, and it's just my own flavor, right? Just like you.
With that translation.
Yeah.
Nice one.
But I'm just saying.
Fuck, I smelled that from here.
Yeah.
I drank a lot of beer today.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna give the Portuguese version here. Like,
Christian,
try to.
o desafio challenge, the resume.
Yeah.
We're sorry, guys. We're
No
sorry.
problem.
No, he's not.
Ok. Falando ali das influências, bom, tem bastante coisa aí, né? Mas eu tava falando a respeito do thrash metal canadense ele ser mais ligado com o progressivo, né? O que o Gus concorda completamente, diz que sim, né? Tem uma veia mais progressiva que o americano e que o alemão. O alemão é mais reto, né? Eu não sabe ali o que os alemães ouviam naquela época, coisa e tal, mas eles basicamente ali estavam no Led Zeppelin, no Black Sabbath, né? Mas a banda que fazia com que eles, né, deixassem eles mais loucos assim foi o Rush, sem dúvida, né? Porque o Rush tem toda essa, tinha aquela química toda, aquela, né, fluidez toda, e é uma das bandas mais importantes. Tu tinha ali 3 caras fazendo uma coisa que 5 caras não conseguiam fazer. Então, e também ele fala da questão de gosto musical, né? Eles tinham bastante Spider-Man, just whatever, Spider-Man. Então eles tinham essa coisa que ele acha que é importante também, né? A banda inteira, todo mundo ali tinha o mesmo gosto, né? Eles questão ali, ele entrou depois, Rush. Ele entrou logo depois. Então, tipo, tem essa coisa assim de todo mundo ter o gosto musical, né? Algumas coisas eles diferem um pouquinho no gosto musical, assim, mas o que fez essa. E eles também queriam tocar cada vez mais rápido, né? Eles ouviam o Slayer, ouviam o Creator, porque, meu Deus, a gente tem que tocar mais rápido, tem que tocar mais rápido, né? Eles queriam cada vez mais rápido ainda, e conseguiram, né? Então tem essa coisa assim, tipo, do gosto musical, né? Entre eles, tanto que ele fala ali quando o Gus pegou a primeira vez o We Have a Right ali, e escutaram, ficaram apavorados com aquilo, né? Dark Angel. Eles olharam, não, isso aqui é o que a gente quer fazer. Então, tipo, tem essa.
Quem que não ficou, né?
De querer saber, como ele falou no começo ali, eles sabiam o que eles queriam fazer, né? Então a evolução se deu por causa disso também, né? E também essas coisas mais de quesito de velocidade, assim. Já no quesito assim de ter essa sonoridade, ele fica contente a respeito disso, que as pessoas saibam identificar isso, né? Isso aqui é do Canadá, isso aqui é dos Estados Unidos. Cada banda tem essa peculiaridade, assim, porque tu realmente não sabe o que as bandas estão escutando quando tu tá começando. Às vezes é uma salada de fruta do cão, né? Principalmente tu falar nos Irmãos Cavaleira, né? Né? A gente sabe que o Max e o Igor, né, tinha uma seleção de coisa estranha na cabeça para escutar, não só de heavy metal, né? Então, tipo, isso acaba influenciando bastante, assim, né? Eles têm algumas pequenas coisas assim que eu não gosto, mas eles estavam sempre um mostrando pro outro, escuta isso aqui, escuta aquilo ali, vamos escutar isso aqui, vamos fazer isso aqui. Então
eles
isso acaba.
Eles reconhecem que o Brasil também tem o
Sim,
seu charme, né?
Isso, e o seu som característico também, né? Sabe que o thrash metal brasileiro, ele tem a característica dele, né?
Então, era muito comum a gente enxergar, fala para eles, Christian, por favor, que era muito comum enxergar nos encartes do Mutilator, que o pessoal na época pichava, né, a parede do quarto e se via muito Sacrifice. Essa galera do Brasil ouviu muito Sacrifice, cara. Fala para ele aí.
Okay. Jay is talking about Mutilator, you know, like from Belo Horizonte. It's like most of the pictures that we saw in the album and things like that, they have a wall and they painted Sacrifice in it. And also, they put, I think, on the album too, like something linked to Sacrifice too. Because that time we discovered bands like that, you know, like you bought an LP, so you checked like the thanks session to see like name the bands and the bands that the guys were wearing a t-shirt or something like that. And for Mutilator, Sacrifice was always there. So it's like lots of people who enjoyed Mutilator like went after Sacrifice because of that, you know.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really
you just that wasn't a question, was it? No.
No, it's just an observation. You know?
Okay.
It's just an observation, you know, like because that time, you know, like we didn't have very many specialized medias about heavy metal, thrash metal, or death metal. And the information was something very difficult to get about bands, you know, like when
yes, it was back in the 80s. Oh
yeah, like back in the 80s was like hell on earth. I don't know why people miss the 80s. I don't miss it. I live that, you know, like I'm 45, not so young, but you know that time was kind of a hell to get an LP, to find a band, or sometimes you get an album.
I think especially where you guys are, especially in South America. I think you guys had a tough time getting all the good stuff in the 80s. Yeah. I think I remember hearing that from different people way back in the day. That you guys would find it, but it was hard to get, or it might be like a 5th or 6th generation tape. So I had been duped over and over and over before you guys got it, or people anywhere in the world. Because I know we used to get tapes from people in bands that were like, 2 or 3 times down the generation. So by the time we got it, it still sounded okay, but it wasn't as good as probably it could have been. But yeah, the tape trading and all the information, the magazines and all that. That was really cool back then. I mean, they're still around now.
Yeah, they're still around. Some are trying to
survive. The online thing has got, it's easier and cheaper.
Yeah, very, very easier. You know, like if you compare, like, I think the end of the 90s to the 2000s were like we were able to get the hands on lots of stuff that's listen to tapes. You know, like recorded tapes, not official tapes, recorded. Ok, I'm gonna talk a little bit in Portuguese here. A gente estava falando ali a respeito do fato daqui no Brasil, né? E eles reconhecem isso, que eles sabem que eles trocavam fitas também, né? Que para nós aqui no Brasil, na década de 80, era muito difícil, né? Eu digo até hoje, eu não sinto saudade porra nenhuma da década de 80, era um inferno tu escutar metal naquela época e não conseguir porcaria nenhuma. E ele fala ali, sabe que para nós aqui não era tão fácil assim tu conhecer e tu obter, né? Apesar de ter ali, a gente tinha os fanzines, o pessoal que trocavam fita, eles trocavam fita direto também, pegavam fitas só com em shows, coisa e tal. Então, tipo, tinha essa coisa assim que o cara sente saudade disso, né? Tipo, dessa troca de fita, tipo, toma aqui minha banda, tá? Escuta essa banda aqui, coisa e tal. Hoje em dia tu não faz mais isso, porque a tecnologia tem aí para facilitar bastante, é bem mais fácil, bem mais barato até, né? Mas naquela época, aqui no Brasil, né, e eles reconhecem isso é importante, né? Saber que, tipo, a banda não é tão famosa assim no Brasil porque não tem fã. Não, tem bastante fã. Só que era difícil pra cacete tu conseguir alguma coisa. Ainda né? Era difícil pra cacete conseguir uma fitinha do Sacrifice.
A gente acabava conhecendo por tabela, né?
É que nem eu falei, né? A gente ia lá na contracapa de disco, olhar nome de banda e ver quem é que os caras estavam agradecendo, que nem a parede do Mutilator lá pichada com o Sacrifice, e tal, o cara ia atrás, olhava as camisas e ia atrás, né? Era difícil pra
cacete. Tava olhando lá, né? Que banda é essa, né, cara? Era assim que conhecia as bandas, né, galera? Interessante. Oi, Ivan, tu tem alguma pergunta aí?
Tenho. Eu queria fazer algumas perguntas pro Scott Watts ali. Quais são as influências dele como baixista, já que o Gus já falou?
Scott, Ivan is asking your influences as a bass player.
Yeah.
Okay, you're going to get them all now. You're going to get all flavors of bass players because I have many flavors of bass players that influence me big time. But definitely this started off with Geddy Lee and Geezer Butler, hands down. Those two guys are my gods. Obviously I love Cliff Burton. I love Steve Harris. I love Les Claypool. He's phenomenal. Flea. What's his name? Billy Sheehan. All the good rock guys, jazz guys. I love Stanley Clark. I love Jocko. I love Elaine Carroll. I love Brian Bromberg. The list goes on. Jeff Berlin. There's so many good. Tal Wickenfield. She's an Australian. She's an amazing bass player. She used to play with Jeff Beck a lot. She's just
She got the perfect. What is that? The perfect 32, 38, 36, whatever.
Yeah, so there's many bass players that I love.
You know, I noticed a lot of things in musicians, and that was perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ok. Bom, eu não preciso traduzir os nomes aí que vocês conhecem bem, né?
Entendemos.
Né? A velha guarda, né? Que é mais importante que qualquer coisa aí que muita gente não reconhece.
É a referência de da maioria dos baixistas aí, né, cara? E essa fusão do Sacrifice ficou claro aí. Eles não. As bandas que a gente curte parece que é as que tinham várias fontes diversificadas aí. Cada conversa, cada talk que nós fizemos aqui, nós percebemos, né? A gente falou qual Autopsy e o Eric Cantor falou qual a principal influência Black Sabbath, né? Então é isso aí que deixava o negócio diferente, talvez.
Praticamente tu não consegue fugir do Black Sabbath, por mais que tu tente. A não ser que tu tenha nascido na
jamais.
década de 90 para 2000, aí
Então,
tu consegue.
90. Eu quero entender do Gus e do Scott, que daí, né, dois álbuns 86, 87 e o Soldiers of Misfortune 90 e o Apocalypse Inside 93 sem o Gus. Como é que eles viram essa transição para os anos 90 e aquilo que explodiu, né, aquela adrenalina que explodiu nos anos 80 do thrash deu uma, né, entrou nos anos 90 um pouco mais, como é que se diz, com a marcha mais lenta. Como é que eles enxergaram o Sacrifice entrando na década de 90?
Okay. Jay is asking about the beginning of the 90s when Sacrifice released the third album, then Gus left the band, and there was the fourth album. And that time, it was really a bad time for thrash metal bands, we all know, because of grunge and things like that, like commercial kind of rock and roll mixed to I don't know what. And it's like, it was like the year that lots of bands were screwed up, we know. And how did you see this? I don't know, like how it was, how it affected Canada, because in the United States was a disgrace for the thrash metal bands. Sure. But I don't know if it really affected Canada, because like the bands there were completely different. It's like it is a different country and a different way of playing too. But I don't know if you were affected by this, and how do you see this like changing too? It's like the third to the fourth album and things like that.
It didn't affect us at all. I don't even think we paid attention to it. We were just playing what we played. Yeah, definitely. Thrash slowed down in the beginning of the 90s. Yeah, there's no doubt. I know at that point, I think death metal was taking over. That was the new that everybody loved. I think that was the next thing that was kicking in. Yeah. As for the commercial side, yeah, I know grunge was hitting there. That was the biggest thing. There's no doubt that kicked everything's ass. But for us, no, yeah, I mean, the beginning of that, when thrash was slowing down and death metal was picking up, we basically stopped as a band. Like that was like 92, 93. I left in 93, beginning of 93, and then they did the tour with Death. And then I think in 94, the band just dissolved. So that was basically that was the end of us. I mean, there was many bands that kept going. I think Razor was going on through the whole time, and I think Exciter was still going. Anvil was still going. I don't think they've ever stopped.
No.
Voivod, I'm not sure if Voivod was still going. I think they still were
Maybe.
at that point.
Maybe. I think so.
So, yeah. So if we had stayed together for that, it wouldn't have. I mean, I'm gonna guess that maybe going on tour would be playing with more death metal bands, and maybe the fans wouldn't be into it as much. But we would have kept on playing thrash still. We wouldn't have changed. We would have stayed together. We would have been sacrificed. We would have kept growing as musicians. Our music would have kept changing. Could have kept being heavy. It would have still been thrashy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't feel it affected us at all. But yeah, you're right. It did change. There's no doubt.
Yeah. Okay. Gonna give the Portuguese version. Bom, ele fala que lá no Canadá, né, essa questão assim não afetou tanto, porque na década de 90 o que aconteceu? O thrash metal, ele concorda, ele ficou mais devagar, assim, né? Caiu um pouco a ascensão do thrash metal, ele saiu da banda em 93, 94 a banda estava praticamente acabando já, mas não por essa questão, né? Já tinha outra coisa acontecendo ali. Eu falo até que a banda não mudaria o estilo para se adequar àquela época de 90 ali que o thrash metal estava indo pro buraco, né? O death metal estava em ascensão ali no começo de 90, foi o que escanteou um pouco também o thrash metal, né? A galera não saca muito assim, mas o death metal ele também é culpado de botar o thrash metal num cantinho ali. As gravadoras queriam cada vez mais bandas de death metal, né? E nos Estados Unidos o grunge desgraçou tudo e qualquer banda de thrash metal que pode se existir, né? Umas tentaram acompanhar a tendência, outras caíram, né? E ele fala ali que se eles continuassem como banda em 94, a tendência seria, né, acompanhar as bandas de death metal em turnê, fazer turnê junto com as bandas de death metal, porque isso ajudaria bastante com os fãs, assim, bastante. Porque, né, eles são uma banda técnica, então não teria problema nenhum em tocar. Mas a questão ali foi mais que a banda já tinha parado, mas para eles ali, não, as bandas dos Estados Unidos e do Canadá tem essa diferença, né? O Exciter continuou, o Voivod estava ali ainda, estavam fazendo o que sempre fizeram, né? Não precisaram se render a um mercado, não foi o que aconteceu dentro dos Estados Unidos, né? Tanto que ele, salientando de novo o que ele falou, né? Se, né, ainda tivessem na ativa, ia ser um álbum de thrash metal do mesmo jeito que a banda era.
O Ivan, se me permite aí, já te passo. O Apocalypse Inside de 93. Em 93 foi um ano muito emblemático, porque as bandas que tinham uns sons mais agressivos tiraram o pé do acelerador. E eu vou citar o Coroner, o álbum Coroner Green, Apocalypse Inside do Sacrifice, né, com tendências mais quebradas, mais diferentes, e o próprio Caves AD do Sepultura. Foram discos lançados em 93 que quebraram completamente toda aquela sequência do thrash, e parece que os fãs na época, eu lembro porque a gente também teve alguns jovens, a gente não conseguia compreender. Eles entendem, por exemplo, o Coroner Green e o Apocalypse Inside é um álbum muito trabalhado, demais. Ele é um sacrifício totalmente diferente. Tenta traduzir essa loucura aqui do meu raciocínio aqui.
Dessa analogia.
Ver se faz sentido ou a gente é maluco.
Okay, Jay is trying to analyze the situation in 93, 94, okay, when bands slow down a little bit the speed, you know, like Sacrifice became more technical. We had Coroner, which is like slowed down and became more technical. And even Sepultura was like heavier, but it slowed down a little bit to become, I think, like more technical with some groovy, Brazilian groovy, and other things that most of the people in that time weren't able to understand this kind of evolution, because the bands were evolving, working a different thing, and lots of the fans were like, it's like most of the people didn't understand, even us, because we are young in that time. But nowadays we are able to kind of understand that this kind of evolution and things like that. How do you see this evolution? It's like nowadays, like, because actually, like, all the bands, they evolved to a different path, but still kept the roots there. But we were not able that time to notice this because we were worried about speed, not about technique and things like that. And then when the bands became a little bit more technical, they slowed down the speed in order to do that. How do you see this?
Okay, I'm going to go with right now. As of this day, there was, I don't know, a trillion bands out there that are so technical beyond fuck. Like, holy shit, these guys are players. They can fucking play. There's no doubt. That's a huge difference now than back then. That's for sure. Yeah, the technicality is, I think, way above what it was back then, back in the 90s. But yeah, it was just from our point of view, for our band, it was just musical progression. It's not like we didn't want to play fast. We still played fast, but we had other ideas for music. And that's what happens when bands are together and they grow and they write albums. Their music grows. It's not always 100% thrash and speed. You don't get the mixtures because that's how you grow as a musician. Yeah. And I know some people don't understand that, and well, that's just the way it is. But you
can't stand still. You know what I'm saying? Even when we did the Condemned album, it's still a different flavor, a different ideology. You know, it's a different record than all the other stuff. There's nothing you can do. Like your mentality, where you're headed. It's just like our new stuff. It's how we are now 12 years later. You know, it's still us, but it's us 12 years later.
Yeah.
Some people get it and some people don't get it. And, when I listened to World War V, I said, yeah, that's us 12 years later. There's no doubt about it. People are going to either, love it or, you'll get the one guy. You'll get the one guy that says, I don't know, man. Whatever.
That's what I say about Gus's drumming. I don't know, man.
I don't know, man. It's fucking, yeah. That guy, you should stop giving that guy weed.
Never.
Good. Okay. Portuguese time.
Oh, good luck.
COVID.
COVID. Ele vê isso como uma evolução natural. Tá? Hoje em dia é mais fácil da gente conseguir entender, mas como ele falou ali, né? Tanto o Gus como o Scott falaram que a banda amadureceu, mas naquela época ali a gente tinha uma certa dificuldade de entender, porque a gente era mais, né? Ditando, isso não é trash, isso é trash. Não é bem assim. Obviamente as bandas elas focaram uma coisa mais técnica, não perderam tanta velocidade assim, mas foi uma coisa que aconteceu da evolução deles, né? Tanto que eles começaram a reconhecer isso e ver, tipo, tal banda é técnica, é bem técnico também, mas isso afeta um pouco ali quando a gente é mais novo, né? Então, tipo...
Yes. Fala aí.
I need to focus.
Gus, you're talented.
I know.
You're the drummer.
You know much talent. Not many people can fucking do that shit, eh?
You're right. Nobody.
It's like...
We're done.
Então, tipo, eles falam que isso é de um amadurecimento. Acho que quando a gente fica mais maduro também, a gente consegue entender isso depois de um tempo. É uma coisa que tu pegar o Green naquela época que tu escutou a primeira vez, ou pegar o Sacrifice também a primeira vez que tu escutou, querer comparar. Não dá para comparar. É uma evolução diferente. Naquela época o cara era um pouquinho, digamos assim, mais radical, né? Não sabia, não entendia direito aquilo. Mas é que eles falam, é a banda ficando mais velha. Tu tem uma banda que tem 10 anos de diferença de um álbum pro outro. Tu muda, as coisas mudam ali, né? Mas não deixou de ser trash nunca, né? Ele fala na questão do Sacrifice, né? Tá ali. O thrash metal tá sempre presente. Não quer dizer que é porque não é rápido, não é thrash metal. Não, sempre teve ali. Só ficou mais técnico porque, que nem o Gus fala, os caras ficaram mais velhos, tu vai aprendendo mais. E também tem os gostos que vão amadurecendo, tu vai escutando outras coisas que também influenciam um pouco.
Os caras estavam mais à frente, né? A vanguarda que eu costumo falar, né?
Sim.
Ivan
ou Jorge? Quem vai?
Vamos. Acho que tá no mudo aí, Ivan.
Oi, não tô ouvindo Ivan.
Sorry. Como é que é voltar? Hoje eles estão praticamente com a formação original, lá do começo, tirando umas pequenas mudanças. Como é que é para eles tá compondo esse novo álbum com essa formação praticamente inicial?
Ivan is asking about how is it for you to be composing a new album with practically the original lineup, nowadays, like bringing back that thing from the 80s, the 90s back to the scene again. How did you feel?
Well, it'd be better if we're all living in the same city. It'd be a lot. We'd have an album done already.
Yeah.
But since we're spread out all across Canada and the U.S., and it's only Gus and Rob that get to write everything. It doesn't make it easy, but it gets done. That's all that matters. Sacrifice gets it done.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have to spank Gus because he likes it, but we get it done.
For sure. Ok, Portuguese Fest. Bom, eles falam que, né, eles conseguiram fazer isso. Seria melhor se eles estivessem todos na mesma cidade, né? Mas estão tudo espalhados, 2 no Canadá, 2 nos Estados Unidos, então, né? Mas eles definitivamente conseguiram fazer isso, né? O Sacrifice está aí, né? E é o que eles conseguiram fazer e definitivamente vai sair essa coisa como Sacrifice mesmo, né?
Que bom, ótimas news, conseguimos atualizar. E eu queria, já está se aproximando aí, né, de uma hora, a gente não quer se estender, perguntar para o Gus e para o Scott, para cada um, óbvio, né, qual é o álbum preferido deles do Sacrifice.
Okay, Jay is asking about Gus, your favorite album, and Scott, your favorite album, Sacrifice, favorite album, okay?
Gus, go first.
I don't think we'll ever reach the the pinnacle that we did with Soldiers. That's just my opinion. We were at a peak level at that time in my professional career, in my drumming career, that I don't think I'll be ever able to achieve again. To consider that how long it took me to record the record and how long it took us to write it, I don't think anything will be equaled, to be quite honest. At least from him and I. I mean, we're progressing and growing as musicians, but that will probably be, in my opinion, the greatest thing I've ever done.
Yeah, my favorite Soldiers as well.
Yeah.
Oh, great album.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Eu
We,
concordo.
yeah, I don't think as musicians we'll do anything as good as that.
Yeah, I love all the other ones. Don't get me wrong.
No, yeah, don't get me wrong, and they're all great, but
Yeah.
that album for me was probably everything I could possibly give from my soul in one record.
You
Everything.
have no more soul. I took it the day you joined. See, Gus, if you saw my name under my profile here, it's the Gus Overlord.
Overlord.
Thank God this is on the internet.
Bom, ok.
Muito bom.
Bom, então
Esse-
nós estamos. Eles estão brigando ainda ali sobre o Soldiers, ainda ser o álbum favorito, né? Mas definitivamente foi o álbum que eles mais evoluíram, né? O Gus botou a alma, botou toda a alma dele, mas o Scott que já tinha roubado a alma dele antes mesmo. Então, né?
Pergunta pro Gus, rapidinho, pra gente finalizar, se ele... como ele vê o trabalho do Michael Rosenthal no Apocalypse Inside.
De quem?
Michael Rosenthal, o
Ok.
batera que gravou o
Não,
Apocalipse.
tranquilo. E depois eu vou adicionar uma outra pergunta. Gus, Jay is asking, how do you see the work of Michael Rosenthal and Sacrifice?
Oh, I have no problem with Mike's work, none whatsoever. He did a fantastic job on Apocalypse Inside. It's just another extension of what Sacrifice had done after I had left, and it lives with the rest of our catalog. He's a fantastic drummer. I would never have any criticism of him being in the band or where he was at that time with where those guys were. He was an excellent choice to replace me for sure.
Yeah,
Great.
And I heard his stuff, and he did my stuff really well. I had no problem with
we
that.
couldn't have had anyone else. Mike.
Well, I know.
Mike
I mean, considering like we're two bands that were in Scarborough, and we pretty much hung out, and everybody knew everybody, and I couldn't see anybody who else. I don't think at that time, Scott, and anybody else in the city would have enough, chutzpah to actually do that. You know what I'm saying? Or could even try to do it. So Mike was a good fit for you guys.
Oh yeah, he was excellent.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Great. Falando em português. Speaking in Portuguese?
A fresh one.
Yeah. Bom, ele não tem problema nenhum com o Mike, né? Ele diz até que foi uma ótima escolha, né? Ele gostou bastante do trabalho dele no Apocalypse Inside, que é muito bom. Também gostou do trabalho dele tocando as músicas dele. Não tem nada, não pude ver nem nada, assim, né? Tanto que o Scott fala que não tinha outra pessoa melhor para fazer isso, né? Então, tipo, para ele não tem problema nenhum e foi uma escolha muito boa, assim. Eu só vou terminar, então, vai terminar, né? Eu vou terminar, então, perguntando sobre os planos, né? Para o próximo ano, né? Obviamente que é o álbum e se vai ter tour também, né?
7 beers?
Que é o... Okay, this is going to be the final question, okay?
Is that it? Oh, like he's out too.
Yeah. I am not.
Oh, really? Only one more?
Okay, my last question is like, how are your plans for 2023? You know, if you're planning to tour, if we're gonna have like a Sacrifice on tour, touring the new album and maybe some old songs,
We'll
like,
definitely be playing. As for recording the new album, I don't know. I mean, we'd like to for sure, but we'll definitely be playing somewhere in the world.
Yes.
Yeah. Nothing's booked yet. Obviously, it's too far out. But we'll be still playing. We're gonna keep playing until we can't anymore.
Until Rob says, I'm done.
Yeah, exactly. Until Rob can't sing anymore.
Or all of a sudden my shit seizes up and...
sing. And then
What, me? Sing?
Leads. Yeah, you could be like Beeler.
No. Anyways, yeah, whenever Rob says it's over, it'll be over. But until he says that, I'm more than happy to play. But he says he wants to start a rock and roll band. I know me and Scott are playing some kind of silly project along the way. We have things in the fire, him and I.
Great.
We're friends.
Falando do... Speaking in Portuguese fast. Very fast.
Fast.
Bom, eles falam ali que os planos do ano que vem, sim, tem. Eles estão tocando, né? E sim, vão tocar. Isso que eu chamar. Eles acreditam que a banda vai continuar nativa, só vão parar se dizer, tá, não aguento mais, tem que parar. Mas não, a banda não vai parar. Então, com certeza, eles vão estar tocando em algum lugar do mundo, vai ter o Sacrifice tocando, né? Então, vou me despedir deles aqui, né?
Isso aí, galera. Agradece
aqui.
Demais aí a presença do Gus e do Scott aí, lendas da nossa infância.
Okay. Gus, Scott, thank you very much for your presence here. Okay,
no problem. Thank you for having us again. It was excellent. Here, okay? I like your guys' show. It's fun.
And I wish you to leave a message to the Brazilian
He gets to stare at me the whole hour.
Yeah, well, I don't like that part, but I'll make a sacrifice. Okay, guys, anytime you want us to come back, we'll do it.
For sure.
As soon as we get the new slab done, we'll come back and do another interview. Yes. You guys can talk about that.
For sure. We would like to talk about the new album and things like that. For sure. You know?
Yeah. And then us coming to South America, because we got to do it. Playing the one show in Peru was not enough.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Come on.
We want to do as many countries as possible.
Yeah.
I would agree on doing this. I can't wait to do as many countries as possible.
Okay, guys, hold on. Is weed legal in Brazil?
Yeah.
Oh.
It depends.
Have they legalized it?
It's not illegal to enter Brazil with, but like concerts, like what they're like.
Also, it's not legal there yet. Okay, because you guys know it's legal in Canada, right?
No, not yet. We are trying to legalize it. It would be good, because we can have lots of good medicine with that.
Oh, I bet. I bet.
We're already on that stuff already.
Yeah.
Not only medicine, but it would be better, But politicians,
benefits.
Yeah. But politicians in Brazil, they tend to get money.
Okay.
Galera, então agradece aí, Christian, Gus, Scott. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Till next time.
We'll see you guys again.
Nice to talk to you guys.
Later.
Cheers, boys.
Galera, obrigado aí. Hoje, fora do padrão aí. Acompanhe a agenda do Heavy Culture, se inscreva no canal, muitas novidades chegando aí. E um ótimo final de semana a todos. Gus, Scott, thank you very much. Yeah. Christian, Ivan, muito obrigado.
Guys.
See you. Bye.
Tchau.